All right, welcome back to another video, athletes. Today we're going to cover a metabolic conditioning routine and why it's important for athletes to train. Without getting too bogged down in physiology of it all, metabolic conditioning, or Metcon, is critical for athletes to improve the efficiency of their energy production systems. This allows athletes to compete at higher intensities for longer, enhancing work capacity and overall performance at the top end of their anaerobic threshold. Anaerobic threshold is the point in which our bodies switch from using aerobic energy production requiring oxygen to anaerobic energy production requiring glucose, aka sugar/carbs. Generally, the aerobic energy pathway can be considered your base cardiovascular capacity, which is most prevalent in long, steady duration events. Anaerobic capacity is the ability to really redline your RPMs at the highest intensity. You want to train both of these energy pathways so you can compete longer and at higher intensities with shorter recovery times. In this workout, we will focus on improving both anaerobic threshold and pushing ourselves into the higher range of our top end anaerobic capacity so we can remain explosive. Now, with that short overview done, let's get into our workout. Okay, so here's our workout plan. We'll start with a quick 5-minute warm-up, then get into our training blocks, which will have a few exercises. We're going to push ourselves and keep moving for 15 minutes per block. We'll start with a quick warm-up, but if you want a longer and more in-depth one, I'll post another link in the captions. All right, let's get into it. Starting from the standing position, we're going to crawl out to the front plank for a down dog flow. Push the hips up using your feet and hands into downward dog. You should look like a triangle from the side and walk through the heels. After you've done that a couple times, we're going to lift one leg and open the hips to reach the leg and dangle the foot behind you. Bring that same leg to your chest as you come back into the plank and plant the foot in a very long lunge position. From here, we're going to perform the world's greatest stretch 3 times on each side by planting one hand and reaching behind your back with the other. Notice here that Rachel is alternating which hand she plants on the ground so you can get rotation to both the left and right side. She's also challenging her shoulder mobility by bringing her hand behind her back, warming up her internal rotation of the shoulder. Once you're done those reps, you're going to return to the high plank and push yourself back into downwards dog. Big stretch in the hip, dangle that foot, and then swing that knee up towards the front, back into the world's greatest stretch. And again, we're going to repeat the same movements, both sides. Take note that she's also using her eyes to help guide the rotation through her thoracic spine or upper back, which is going to help with that rotational range of motion. Next, we're going to do 5 bear squats from the plank position with your feet set at a squat stance with sit the hips back towards the heels while knees hover an inch above the floor. You want to drive back into a plank as if you're going to jump. 5th rep, jump forward and catch yourself in a power squat position, keeping hips stable and posture tall. Lift the arms overhead and pull elbows down into the hips for 5 reps. From there, we'll do a couple false jump variations for 3 reps, up and down. You want to reach up, stay tall on the balls of your feet, and find a balanced, stable point. Rip those arms and hips down aggressively to jump down into the ground. You want to stomp the heels to stick the landing. After we've done those 3 reps, we're going to go up and down instead of just sticking that landing. So when we come back up, we're not going to launch ourselves into the air, but we're going to find that balance point on the balls of our feet. So we should be going down and then back up quickly. Okay, so block A is going to have a half kneeling overhead press, split squat, side plank dip, and single leg elevated hip bridge. We're going to do these for 10 reps each, and we're going to try to get as many rounds done as possible within 15 minutes. Let's aim for about at least 3 rounds. First up is our half kneeling contralateral overhead press. Contralateral meaning opposite arm, opposite leg. The coaching cues here are going to be big proud chest, stable from belly button to the feet, and press the arm all the way behind the ear. We want to stabilize through the core and activate your glutes to create a solid foundation for that pressing motion. Next up, we have our goblet split squat. We're going to hold the weight at the chest in the goblet position with a slight lean forward over your front leg. Keep your weight even between each foot and try to tear the floor apart with your feet. You want to actively pull your sit bones down towards your heels and push the floor away to stand. You control the weight doesn't control you. With our side plank dips, we have two different variations. We have the modified and the regular. One common mistake here is not pushing our hips out forward in a straight line from the shoulder down to the knees. When we come to the bottom of this exercise, we'll hinge back slightly so that we can extend back up into that straight line at the top. For the single leg hip bridge, we're going to keep our ribs tucked down and the trunk and hips stable. Dig one heel straight down and raise the hips to a flat line from the ribs to the knee. The other leg can stay floating. Our block B exercises are going to consist of lunge gliders, push-ups, and the TRX row. With the lunge gliders, we're going to do 10 repetitions on both sides for 20 total, and the push-ups should be in a challenging rep range. So whether that's 6 to 10, 10 to 15, we just want to make sure that those last two reps are difficult. For the goblet glider slide lunges, we're going to hold the weight at the chest, keep the feet stable and glued, and go as wide as you can control with your chest proud, bent over at the hips. Push and pull between the legs in a low bent over position. Hips and shoulders should stay in line with each other and parallel to the floor at the same height throughout the movement. A strong core is key to a good push-up. No banana backs or butts up in the air, whether you are on your feet or the knees. You'll pull the body weight forward with your armpits and keep the face away from the floor and in line with the spine. The upper arms should be wide enough to make an arrow shape, about 45 degrees away from your body. For the TRX row, we're going to keep our hips tall and backside strong the entire time. Big chest to pull while we pull the handles or bar down to you. Do not let your hips fall as you come down. An alternative to the TRX, if it's not available, is the down under row, also known as the Australian row, where we can set up a barbell on a squat rack and perform the same movement. All right, athletes, that's a Metcon workout for you in the bag. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends, and I will see you guys in the next one.